Hello everyone. Let's talk about a beautiful story, A Devoted Son by Anita Desai. I believe you will enjoy listening to me for about 15 minutes. Let's get going. Before we begin, here are a few questions to answer. Will you be ready to sacrifice your career, status, and economic opportunities for the good of your parents? Why or why not? Okay. There are many people, many youngsters who get ready to sacrifice their career or economic opportunities for the sake of their parents, whereas some others don't like because they give priority to their individual freedom and aspirations. So that depends on the different individuals. And in your views, what are the qualities of a devoted son or daughter? There might be different qualities. A devoted son should be very loving and caring to the parents. Some others say that a devoted son is the one, a daughter is the one who stays with the parents in the hours of need. Okay, there might be many different opinions. So in this context, we are starting this story, A Devoted Son by this popular Indian writer, Anita Desai. She was born in 1937. Her original name was Anita Majumdar, and she was born as a biracial child, and she is best known as a writer of children's books. Okay, moving ahead. The core of the story, A Devoted Son, is a realistic story set in a middle class Indian family. The story shows how parents cherish their ambition towards their children and how a child, either a son or a daughter, should fulfill their duty towards the parents. Okay, as you can see in the picture, a typical Indian family usually has this kind of norms, right? A son touching the feet of his father or mother early in the morning and taking blessings from them. In this context, we're starting this story. Characters in the story just have a pictorial illustration aside. Rakesh, he is the son, Barmaji or Mr. Burma, the father, and Rakesh's mother, Bina. So she is Rakesh's wife or the daughter-in-law in the family. And the character is Mr. Vatia, an old man from the neighborhood. And there are many other people in the neighborhood. They are minor characters. Okay, moving ahead. The story goes like this. The results come in the examination papers, and Rakesh checks them. It's early morning, and he finds his results in the newspaper. And after he receives the newspaper, he goes up to his father in the veranda and touches his father's feet. The father inquires him if he is a first division, and Rakesh tells him that he is placed at the top of the list, means that he has become the board topper. Happiness flows then in the Burma family, and the family cheers and dances, and soon there come the neighbors to congratulate Rakesh and his father because it's the very first time anyone from that village has made such spectacular examination results. So it has brought some fame in the neighborhood. Therefore, the neighborhood people come there with gifts, pens, and party clothes, and even one or two wristwatches are given to Rakesh by the close relatives. The visitors are offered halwa, sweets, and tea. They said that Rakesh has brought glory in the family. Some of them feel envious because their children have not performed so well in the examination. And others say that Brahmaji is giving some airs because Brahmaji is a very simple man. But he begins to boast about his son's performance in the examination. So some of the neighbors do not quite like it. Okay. So that is only the beginning. So it's just the first time that Rakesh brings glory to the village, right? And later on, when he completes his thesis paper, he writes for his MD. So, and it brings greater glory for him in the circle of medical students as well as in the entire village. Okay. After the completion of his thesis paper, he gets a chance to go to the United States of America to work in a reputable hospital, maybe as a training or maybe doing further research. And the common people in the village, they just call it America. They cannot say it the United States of America. But Rakesh's father, who is now informed about the political name of the country, he goes on saying the USA. So the story writer meticulously observes this kind of practice in the village. When Rakesh returns, the first thing he does on entering the house is to slip out of the embrace of his sisters and brothers and bows down and touches his father's feet. And his mother wonders that he doesn't come with an American gold, right? So because many other villagers, like they go on doubting, they go on speculating, right, that Rakesh would one day get married to a white girl, an American girl. But Rakesh is a devoted son. He maintains the family culture. He doesn't go against the family practices. Finally, Rakesh agrees to marry a simple and uneducated girl from his village, chosen by his mother, and she is none other than Bina, right? So Bina is a village beauty. She is quite good at cooking and doing the household chores. So such a simple girl comes to the Burma family as a daughter-in-law, and for some years, Rakesh works in the city hospital, town hospital Desai, and quickly rises to the topmost position of the hospital. So he becomes a very famous person. So he takes his parents in the car, and he is known not only as the best, but also as the richest doctor in town. Okay. So at the time, he sets up his own clinic. His father gets retired from a kerosene depot, simply working as a kind of common helper in the kerosene depot. The man gets retired because the son has done pretty well. Okay, financially, their family has become stable. Okay, so, but something bad happens in the Burma family, right? Yeah, he has to face the tragedy, the death of his mother. He tries his best to treat the illness of his mother in his own hospital, but he cannot save his mother. So the last time she takes her breath, so Rakesh is touching her feet, pressing her feet. So that's what happens, and this is how the mother takes her last breath in Rakesh's hospital. Okay, so she's very lucky. Like the time she takes her last breath, her son is aside her, pressing her feet. Then, after the death of Mrs. Burma, Mr. Burma begins to get lonely. He's already retired from his job and he has lost his wife. The old man soon develops kind of illness which even Rakesh, as a doctor, cannot diagnose properly. He mysteriously loses his consciousness time and again and creates commotion in the family. The old man keeps spitting around and coughing, and once he spoils a big party, probably it's a kind of birthday party that Rakesh has organized. They're no longer living in the village now. Then they have come to live in better house in city. There are some people, and Rakesh's wife Veena is no longer a typical middle class Indian daughter-in-law. She has become a rich person now. The servants in the house take good care of Mr. Burma. So during the summer, Rakesh tells them to take their father's seat under the trees so that the man can feel the fresh air. And during the winter time, he tells his servants to take his father's seat in the sun. So this is how Rakesh tries his best to take a very good care of his father. But the man is not maintaining his health quite well because, okay, he feels like eating some oily, sugary food items which are detrimental to his health because he's probably suffering from diabetes or maybe high blood pressure. So that's why Rakesh thinks that it's high time to supervise his father's diet. Okay. The man evidently enjoys eating suji halwa from his childhood, but Rakesh denies him any sweets or fried items. That's why the old man then tries to bribe his grandchildren to buy him sweets. But when Bina comes to know about it, she gets a beautiful story to narrate to her husband. And for the first time, Rakesh talks to his father in an angry and irritated tone. He tells his father that he is making his children the liars. The old man doesn't have anyone to share this pain. Thick tears roll down his eyes, but he cannot say anything to his son. There is only one pleasure left for the man now, the morning walk, and his son reading him the newspaper. So this continues. Okay. Once there comes Mr. Bhatia, who tells him that he is being well taken care of by his son and daughter-in-law, right? So over the conversation, Mr. Bhatia appreciates Rakesh and his wife, and he also thinks that Mr. Burma is a very lucky person. So at this, the old man begins to cry. He says that his son doesn't even give him enough to eat. No butter, no oil, nothing fried for the old man. This is the way great doctors treat their fathers. Mr. Bhatia cannot believe this thing. Okay? The Bina happens to hear them and she doesn't quite like it. And in the evening, she narrates again to her husband because the old man is complaining to the neighbors, right? the old man finds himself weakening this way. Bina begins to pay less attention and care to the old man. There are pills to regulate the old man's stomach, pills to bring his blood pressure down. All right, so this is how medical treatment is given. Vitamins are given to the old man to keep him alive so longer than he wishes to hang on. Bina, the daughter-in-law, begins to ignore him in the absence of her husband. Yeah, so this is what, so she changes her color, and because now she has become a rich woman, she has almost forgotten the family values, right? This is what happens. She enjoys listening to the radio and leaves the old man suffer in the veranda most of the time. But one day, the old man tells him that he wants to die. The old man tells his son that he wants to die. He doesn't need any pills. Then it's late evening and Rakesh has just come and he wants to feed his father the medicine. But the old man sweeps off with the bottle of medicine. It smashes and then the thick syrup percolates on the floor. There is noise and attention in the house. The old man gives a final push to his pillow and he closes his eyes and points his chin to the ceiling and he groans, right? The last voice comes out of the old man. He goes inside. God is calling me. Now let me go. This is how the old man passes away. This is the overall plot of the story. I believe you have understood the plot. Now, if you want to make the thematic interpretation, you can see these few points given in this slide. Okay. The very first point that I have mentioned here is that this story is basically about the family values in Indian context, middle class Indian family. Whether this kind of family gives maximum priority to taking care of the parents or not. Take, for example, the parental role and ego and ambition. What we see here is that Mr. Burma, he has some kind of ego and ambition for his son. He wants his son to do the best. He wants his son to excel in his life, particularly financial well-being, okay, that he wants to see that his son is bringing in the family. All right. So, and the thing is the responsibility of children, whether the children should stay with their parents, take care of their parents, either mother or father, in the hours of need or not. So, can children keep this responsibility, or whether the children even take this responsibility as a burden? Okay, these like questions have been already raised by this story. Okay, in the story we can see Rakesh fulfilling his responsibility to a great extent, but towards the end of the story he treats his father more as a doctor and less as a son. So there is a little bit confusion in him that he cannot choose his best role. Okay, which role is better for him? He doesn't seem to understand this thing. That's why he's in some kind of confusion. So what role is suitable for him? In what way he should address his father and take care of him? Probably Rakesh forgets this thing. He cannot maintain it well. Another thematic thread that we find in this story is all about taking care of the elderly people, what we usually call aged care. How can we better treat the old people? Can we keep them entirely in the aged care centers? So depending upon the service provided by the caregivers or the hospitals or the nursing homes, or it is okay if we keep them at our own home and the children and the grandchildren can be taking better care of the elderly people as practiced in the Indian and Nepalese context. Okay, so this like idea can also be discussed, okay, going through the story. Another theme is family misunderstanding and priority. Definitely, there is a misunderstanding in the family because there are people with different mindset and different age group. Children may be thinking completely different from the way their parents may be thinking, right? So maybe daughter-in-law in the family thinks differently. She has a different priority. She need not necessarily give equal priority to her father-in-law or mother-in-law as much priority as she gives to her husband or her own children. This family misunderstanding and priority has also been beautifully highlighted by the writer in this story. Before we wrap up, I want you to just have an eye on to this question. So after we have gone through this story, here is a beautiful question on essay writing, care of elderly citizens, right? Writing an essay in about 300 words, right? So you can see, you can mention these like points, right? If you want to write this essay. Definitely, essay writing has certain parts. Okay, usually we write an essay in 5 paragraphs that has an introduction paragraph, nearly 3 body paragraphs, and a concluding paragraph. but you can include these like points. So for example, if you talk about the age care or care of elderly citizens, so either it can be done by their own sons and daughters, or there could be maids and servants at home, or they could be taken to aged care centers. All right. And what the elderly people need is a love, okay, to feel like living, and they also need care to help them do their work, and they also need some kind of joy, and so that they feel excited and okay, they find some meaning in their life. They also need companionship, that is friendship. So the elderly people also need friends to share their pain and pleasure. Okay. And definitely elderly people need medical support, right? When they get ill, and they should be treated in a proper way, right? So these like things and elderly people need. So these kind of points can be included in response to this question. Okay. So thank you very much for listening to me. Have a wonderful time ahead.